and this is our final time check. The network will go silent for the final 1 minute. Husker Sports Network programming begins in 1 minute.
Welcome inside the Acres Broadcast Center. I'm Tim Mulhaupt, and this is your Sports Nightly Ticker. Scott Frost met with the media today for the first time since he overhauled his offensive staff on Monday. He spoke on the overall character of his team that he expects down the stretch in the wake of big changes to the program.
Yeah, I do. Other than just things that happen and little tweaks and injuries here and there, this team is a high-character team. They got a lot of grit. And these guys will keep fighting, and when you go through hard times, you don't have much choice but to give up or come closer together, and I know this team will come closer together.
In other football news, Huskers defensive lineman and former Navy SEAL Damian Jackson was named as the 10th recipient of the Armed Forces Merit Award by the Football Writers Association of America. The award honors an individual and or a group with a military background that has an impact within the realm of the sport of football. Adrian Martinez also garnered award attention as he was selected as the Jason Witten Collegiate Man of the Year Award semifinalist. The honor is given to a Division I football player each season who has demonstrated a record of leadership by exhibiting exceptional courage, integrity, and sportsmanship, both on and off the field. Happy signing day, Huskers fans. It's been a busy day for Nebraska athletics as the results are still filtering in, so be sure to check back with Huskers.com and official Huskers athletic and team social media accounts for official signing news. Nebraska men's basketball has announced 3 signings so far today, including JUCO product 6'11" forward Blaze Keita, who averaged 10.5 points and 7.8 rebounds per game as a freshman for Coffeyville Community College Red Ravens last season. Huskers women's basketball has announced the signing of guard Callan Hake, who ranks as the 7th best recruit in Minnesota, and as a whole through the national recruiting ranks, she comes in at highest at 64th in the entire country. Entering her senior season at Chanhassen High School, Hake has 1,633 points, making her the all-time leading scorer in her high school's history. So far today, Nebraska baseball has shared 7 signings, including 6 in-state recruits and a Canadian standout, Caleb Clark, as a left-handed pitcher and first baseman who just signed today to Nebraska. Nebraska volleyball has added 3 players for its 2022 signing class, highlighted by outside hitter Hayden Kubik, younger sister of current Husker Maddie Kubik. PrepVolleyball.com has ranked the Huskers 2022 recruiting class as the 2nd best in the country. Hear more on each of Nebraska's 3 signings tonight as assistant volleyball coach Jalen Reyes joins Greg Sharpe at the top of hour 2 for our weekly volleyball show. That's the ticker. I'm Tim Mulhaupt, and this is Sports Nightly.
Live inside Memorial Stadium, this is the Huskers Radio Network.
Rolling to the right side is DeMorat being pressured, throws downfield, passes intercepted, picked off by the Cornhuskers. It's Deontay Williams, 2nd pick of the day, 3rd turnover forced by the Blackshirts, and Nebraska will take over. 3rd and 5 from the 7. Pistol set, 2 wideouts left, Lever to the near side. In motion is Toure, snap back, turn, run the option to the near side. Adrian pitches it back to Samore to the 5. He is in. Touchdown, Nebraska.
It's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down. Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
In for Jessica tonight, who's on assignment, Jeremiah Searles. We're going to break down some Husker football chatter here on a Wednesday night, and as Tim mentioned, we'll have our volleyball show with Jalen Reyes coming in studio in hour number 2. Welcome to the program. Our heads aren't spinning quite as much, Jeremiah, tonight as they were 48 hours ago when there was a lot of news coming our way 48 hours ago.
Yeah, I mean, and it was out of a fire hose, right? It was just like, by the way, it was like, hey, here's what's happening. By the way, these 4 coaches are gone. And it's like, oh, whoa, we have a game in 2 weeks. Like, and that was kind of the lingering afterthought, right? Like, it was like, oh, changes. It's like, by the way, the #1 defense, you go play them in a couple weeks. So it is nicer to hear. It was good to hear Coach Frost at the press conference today and address some of those things, kind of calm some of the waters, and really, I think it really showed that him and Trev are on the same page. I think listening to that press conference, it really showed those two guys have talked things through. There is a clear path for what they want to get done, and I'm excited to see it kind of start come to fruition here over the next couple of weeks.
He did meet with the media after their workout today, and he kind of laid out who will be coaching which positions for the last 2 games and where he would like to go. I thought it was interesting when he talked about first thing he needs to is get an offensive coordinator, and that he is ready to hand the keys to this guy and say, now, y'all, that will be tough. And as a head coach, you have ultimate veto power, right?
Yes.
And when your days, we always heard Bo say, well, I've got a defensive coordinator. But Bo would jump in there and call a defense every now and then.
I mean, let's be honest. Coach Papuchis was a little bit of the whipping boy for Coach Bo at times. I mean, there was back and forth of who called. But, again, you do, as when you put the HC on your hat, like, you have final say, because at the end of the day, you are the one that will be held responsible for the team's win or loss. But I do like the way that he's talking about delegating. I mean, if you look around at some of the great coaches, college, NFL, the great ones aren't necessarily always the greatest X's and O's guys, but they understand how to delegate and how to put guys around them in good positions so they can handle what it is to be a head coach, especially in college, of issues with guys being homesick, or whether it's recruiting or stuff around the state, and because that's really important to a program too, which he touched on. And so I think that finding someone he trusts is going to be hard, and I think it's going to be earned. I don't necessarily think he's just going to come in and turn the keys of the car over. I think they're going to make it earn it, and then as he gains more trust, he gives them more and more responsibility.
He also made the comment that, and we're going to get to some of these as we make our way through the hour, but made the comment that hire the OC, and then the OC is going to have a big impact on who the other staff is. Why is that important?
You want to make sure if you're going to bring someone in, you can't just square peg, round hole it, right? It's got to be, hey, here's what I'm bringing in. Here's my vision for the offense. Let me bring in people that are familiar with my vision. It'd be really hard if you just took a bunch of people and threw them in a room, and one's a air raid, one's a West Coast, one's the triple option, right? You're like, okay, make an offense go. Like, you got to have congruency through that whole thing. So getting the offensive coordinator here is obviously step number 1, and then input of, hey, here's why I want to bring this guy and why. Here's why I want to bring this guy and why, and then come into a decision together that best benefits Nebraska.
He said that he thinks it'll happen quick, but the people that he's talking to are currently coaching. So you've got to wait for their regular season, not their bowl season necessarily, but their regular season to end. I think at that point in time, a coach, I think, is ready to can sever a tie and move on and not leave bad blood where they're leaving.
Yeah, and you never know where this is, right?
No.
We have no idea where these guys could go, and I think that that's hard but also good. I mean, the fact that they're employed, plus. I mean, but the hard piece is going to be recruits are going to be going, well, hey, who's my O-line coach? Hey, who's my offensive coordinator? And, like, those are hard questions to answer, but it is something you're like, just wait a couple more weeks. Like, wait a couple more weeks, because I think that's the biggest hurdle in front of us right now is getting those coaches established to settle the recruits, because I'm sure recruits are swimming a lot right now of decision-making too.
Yeah, some of the recruiting folks have talked to some of those prospective student-athletes, and a couple of them have even kind of tweeted out, said, hey, Scott Frost is still the head coach. I'm good. I'm willing to trust where this thing is headed. Sean Beckton, I want to ask your thoughts about Sean Beckton being retained. Why do you think that happened?
You know, I think he's earned that. I think that he's got a room that's full of good leaders. He's been able to come in and show work and show development. Whenever you talk about a coach, and people want to talk about development, right? That's a big thing. You have to look backwards for development. I think so many times, and I think Coach Austin fell victim to this a little bit. It's like, well, he can't develop guys. Look at Turner and Benhart. It's like, no, you got to look back. Look at Hymas and Farniak. Look at Cam Jurgens compared to where he was a few years ago. Like, development takes time, and I think Beckton's done a really nice job of development. And I think that's probably the #1 reason that he got to be retained is the development of his room, and how he's been able to grow that has been really cool to watch. And I think he wants him to take a little bit more of a leadership role with some of the new coaches that come in, because he's really the only one that understands what this place is besides Scott on offense.
So he is back. Thomas Fedoni obviously was the crown jewel of the class a year ago. We've not seen him play yet because he's working his way back from a knee. I think we will see him.
Well, and maybe both games coming up. I think that he'll have about a full month of practice under his belt. And I think obviously you don't want to tempt losing maybe one of the best tight ends in the country. Potentially one of the best tight ends in the country.
You for sure want to make him happy. But I do think that dude has the competitiveness we talked about on Monday night of he wants to be one of the reasons why this place turns. He wants to be a big part as to why the offense is better because of number 24. And I love that kid. I love the mentality that he's taken from the day he got here to his rehab, the way he's attacked it. Guys rave about him that I talk to. They say, we have to tell him to stop doing things. Like he would just work and just go, and that's great to have. And you talk about a young guy that's learning from an old guy. I mean, Austin Allen's a leader, right?
Yes.
I mean, you take those leadership qualities that Austin Allen has and start in putting those into him as a young cat. He could be not just a great player, but a phenomenal leader for the Big Red for a long time too.
Here are the coaches that will handle the positions for the remainder of the season. Ron Brown at running back, no shock there. You have some background with Ron Brown. Really well-respected guy.
Yeah, I mean, and they're going to do this wonderful thing called Ram Drill. It's Ron Brown. It's a Ron Brown special, whether it was tight ends, running backs. So you line up and you go set hut, and you just run into each other as hard as you can, and one person wins, one person loses. And, I mean, I remember watching Ben Cotton and Kyler Reed go at it, and then he went to running backs. You got Rex Burkhead, Amir Abdullah, Braylon Hurd. I mean, he just brings a little bit of that toughness and a little bit of that old-school coach mentality to it of like, hey, I don't care if it's week 12. You guys are going to hit each other. And I love that about Coach Brown because he is who he is and he doesn't falter. And we've seen that through in the public, right, where sometimes he gets himself in trouble with, but, like, he's the same way on the football field. He is exactly who he is, and whether you like it or not, that's what you get. And I can really respect coaches that get behind it. And he's just an awesome dude, too.
Passion just drips out of his veins. Drips out of his veins. Frank Verducci will handle the offensive line. Steve Cooper will handle the quarterbacks, and Mike Casano will be with the wide receivers for the last 2 games of the season. I was on one of our affiliates earlier today, and they said, could any of those be retained in a full-time role? I go, maybe, although, again, going back to what we talked about earlier, whoever the new OC is going to have a pretty big hand, and I don't know what relationship a new OC would have with any of these guys. Probably not much, if any, but that's your lineup. Frank Verducci's been here 4 or 5 years. He knows everybody on that offensive line. Those guys, I think, would feel comfortable with him.
I mean, talk about a great opportunity for these young coaches. Like, I mean, you got a chance to go put 2 weeks together and show how you game plan and show if you can find ways to get position groups ready to come out and play or not. How prepared do you guys look? I mean, all those things are important to these coaches right now because they could be auditioning for other schools, right? So, again, crappy situation having to let some coaches go. It's nature of the business, but some great opportunities for some of these younger quality control and offensive assistants.
Yeah. All right, if you have any thoughts about any of this, phone lines are always open and available for you at 402-413-2400. Call or fire off a text. We'll react to that. Disappointing night last night at PBA for the opener for the Husker basketball team. They drop a game, a 1-point decision to Western Illinois. Just got clobbered on the backboards. Got out rebounded by 20 by the Leathernex. Leathernex hit 2 late threes to pull that one out. I know Coach Hoiberg said no silver linings after that game, and that's a disappointing setback. But I will say, it's one of about 32 games, so don't just walk away from this group. They will get better. I watched a lot of college basketball yesterday. A lot of teams struggle right out of the gate, so don't give up on this team. They obviously have some warts, but everybody does this time of year. They'll be hard at it. They get back at it against Sam Houston State on Friday night. If you have some thoughts about that, we can get into that tonight as well. Our Sports Highlight Hotline is brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first. 18 brands, 16 convenient locations. Simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, buy it online at woodhouse.com. Back with some of your calls and comments coming up next.
You could win a 2021 Ford F-150 XL four-wheel drive Super Crew truck from the Woodhouse Auto family this season. If the Huskers return the first or second half opening kick for a touchdown, Woodhouse will give away an F-150. New contestants will be chosen each week. For details on how to enter the Woodhouse Auto Family Kickoff Contest and official rules, go to woodhousekickoff.com. That's woodhousekickoff.com.
Valley 365 is here, and the time is now to take your farming technology full circle. Valley 365 is the ultimate command center, the new single sign-on platform that brings together our tried and true technology and streamlines your entire operation. Combining the best features of AgSense, Valley Scheduling, Valley VRI, and Valley Insights, Valley 365 is the next-level solution for connected crop management. Leverage your data, make the most of your time, and own your tomorrow. Contact your Valley dealer today.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there's no place that treats you like home like Sap Brothers. For 50 years, Sap Brothers has fueled America's heartland and been a reliable partner to local farms and Husker fans across Nebraska. Providing the highest quality fuel, lubricants, and propane, servicing your farming equipment, and welcoming guests into their travel centers. Visit www.sapbros.net. Sap Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Husker Athletics.
Whether you compete on the court, at the track, on the field, or in the fields, winning isn't just a goal. It's a mindset, shaped, honed, and defined throughout the season. That's why farmers pushing themselves to be the best plant DeKalb brand corn. Wherever you compete, winning has roots. Perform at your best with DeKalb. Always read and follow grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
While some seed companies put a greater stake in stock prices and anonymous shareholders, Rob Seco knows that what's important to you hits closer to home. That's why you'll find we're focused on your needs. With a simplicity that makes us easy to do business with, a relationship that makes it easy to connect with anyone at the company, and the technology, traits, and genetics you need from any source. Put your stock in the company that puts you first. Rob Seco.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. For the fourth year in a row, the University of Nebraska system ranked as one of the top 100 institutions worldwide in earning U.S. patents. The NU system was granted 38 patents, and of those, 27 were awarded to UNL researchers. The result? New startup companies, jobs, and university licensed products that grow Nebraska's economy.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You trained for this all year. Endless hours of cardio, conditioning, and weights. And now you are ready. Ready to trek back to your seat from the concession stand. Through the lines, lost fans, and that mascot who wants you to do a little dancey dance, all without spilling a drop of your ice-cold Bud Light. Welcome back to football, sports fans.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day, because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
Here we go again. The celebrating, the accolades. Ever since we added Marco to our team, our technology can't lose. Day after day, success after success, Marco's made our business IT a force to be reckoned with. The only drawback of being technology all-stars is keeping champagne away from the electronics. Find out what your technology could be saying at marconet.com.
Addie's Sports Bar and Grill is the place to watch Nebraska games this season. Locally owned and operated, Addie's is Omaha's premier sports bar with 4 locations in Elkhorn, Maple Street, Millard, and the new flagship Capitol location in downtown Omaha. If it's Husker game day, it's on at Addie's. Addie's Sports Bar and Grill is Omaha's official watch party spot with game day giveaways, prizes, fun, and more surprises later in the season. Addie's Sports Bar and Grill. See you there for the game.
Score a game-winning drive when you buy your next vehicle at Sid Dillon Chevrolet. As a Chevrolet Business Elite dealer, we offer commercial vehicles, including medium-duty trucks and low-cab forwards. Whatever vehicle fits your needs, we're here to make the purchase process easy. Visit our Chevy locations in Blair, Crete, Fremont, or Wahoo. Plus, shop our full inventory at SidDillonChevy.com.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Chevy, find new roads.
You already got the hat, the jersey, maybe even the occasional red and white face paint. So kick things off right this season and add the FNBO Husker Visa debit card to the list. Pay loud and proud for every Husker decal, t-shirt, or hot dog at the game. Wear your heart on your sleeve and in your wallet with the Husker Visa debit card, free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
We are back inside of our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres Equipment, Nebraska's premier John Deere dealer with 27 locations across Nebraska and into Kansas. Acres Solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jeremiah Searles with you tonight. Jessica's on assignment. We'll be back next week here on the program. A lot of people in the chat room want you to throw your hat in the ring to be a coach.
No,
Not
absolutely
gonna
not. I like my doing hobbies. I like to golf, and I like to hunt, and I like to sit around and watch actual other college football games sometimes. I mean, I have so much respect and the utmost respect for coaches, but it's just not my thing, not my deal.
Folks, I tried. I tried. All right, let's go to the phones. Drew in Plattsmouth will lead us off tonight. Good evening, Drew.
Oh, hey, guys. I just wanted to comment on the basketball game. Obviously, a huge disappointment. Rebounding is an issue, but I think we all knew that was going to be one of the major weaknesses this year. We just got to find a way to limit that, and the guards have to do a much better job of getting in there and boxing out. But for me, the biggest disappointment was on the offensive end, which was a complete 180 from what we saw with them against Colorado, where Verge was facilitating, they're sharing the ball, they're getting the bench involved, a lot of different scores. And then for whatever reason last night, it really just turned into watching Verge and Bryce McGowan, who are both extremely talented players. Just the rest of the guys were just standing around and letting them go one-on-one the whole night. So I think a big challenge for Fred is to get these guys to play together, especially with those two having NBA aspirations, wanting to put up points and, stuff the stat sheets. But we got to share the ball a lot better, and that was not a Fred Hoiberg's offense that we saw last night. So I'm hoping, to me, that was the most concerning, and I hope he can get that figured out, because we have a big opportunity here with Creighton coming into town, and there's still a lot to play for. So thanks. I'll just hang up and listen.
All right, Drew, appreciate it. Huskers had one assist in the first half last night. One. Ended up with 6 for the game. So you're absolutely right. It turned into too much standing around, watching Bryce and Alonzo dribble the basketball. That's not going to be effective. They'll get that fixed. The rebounding part, I don't know. I don't know that you can fix that right now. I mean, I think it's kind of more of an off-season thing about how you get people locked up. So appreciate the phone call. Let's go back to the phones. Let's stay in Lincoln. Michael, you're up next here on Sports Honda. Good evening.
Hi. I actually have a question about the coaching change. So I wonder if you think that it's possible that since Scott Frost is stepping away from his play calling duties, if we could see a massive change in the offense, or if they'll just kind of try to integrate, kind of new schemes in there every once in a while. That was just kind of an interesting thought that I had. I wonder what you think about that.
Michael, I think that it's not going to be as drastic as people think. And the reason is because we're built a certain way personnel-wise. We have receivers that are built to run a certain offense, offensive linemen that are built, running backs are kind of, you can plug them anywhere. But the biggest question will be what kind of quarterback comes in. I mean, is it an athletic quarterback? I mean, if we go to the transfer portal, right? If we go to the transfer portal, what kind of quarterback comes in? Is it athletic? Is it a pocket passer? But I don't see drastic changes, because that'd be really hard to do for roster turnover. And you're talking about, well, we'll recruit guys. Well, that's 2-3 years away from seeing those guys be contributors. So I do think there'll be some changes as far as maybe how plays get called, but I think mostly the plays are going to stay relatively scheme-wise the same.
I would agree with that. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Appreciate it, Michael. Thanks for the phone call. Yeah, I think Scott's still the head coach, and he's still going to have an input on what the offense is. He's just, I think, looking for some tweaks to make it better. Maybe somebody who's got some different packages in the red zone, which we've struggled to score. But I think a lot of the things will look similar. You look at a lot of college football, they look kind of similar, right? You flip game to game to game, you're like, yep, that looks familiar to me.
I think the biggest thing that I'll be interested to look for is with the departure of Greg Austin as the run game coordinator, kind of what is now our run game identity? Because if that wasn't Scott's run game last year, I mean, what does Scott maybe want to get back to? Or maybe what does he want to change? And, like, that's going to be the number one thing I watch throughout all of spring is what is this team's run game identity? Because over the last 2-3 years, it's just kind of wavered. Like, we're triple option, we're inside zone, we're wide zone, we're this, we're that. I'd like to see us come out and be really a staple at one of those things and be really good at one of those things instead of kind of good at all of those things.
On our text line, Monday I was content with the decision, but Scott's comments today that Dawson's doing a good job with special teams. He's not sure if we need a special teams coach. Gives me concerns. That comment doesn't seem to match what I've seen on the field. Your thoughts about that?
You know, I don't necessarily think if you look at our special teams overall, our coverage units have been pretty good.
They have.
And even after the post-game at Ohio State, Coach Frost said, I don't single guys out, but it's not our special teams, it's our specialists. And for me, that means, okay, I mean, Coach Dawson is a linebackers coach, right? I mean, he can't look at Connor Culp or he can't look at those guys and mechanically, I really think, be like, oh, you're doing this wrong, or you're doing that wrong. Like, I think we need to bring in someone, not necessarily a special teams coordinator full-time, but I think we need to bring someone in that can technically work with these guys, maybe a former player or maybe someone that has played for one of the guys on staff that wants to come in and work technique with these kickers, not necessarily because I do think our coverage units have gotten better, and they've been good. I mean, Frankie's been amazing for us. That's been such a game changer for us this year, too.
Huge help. Most drives have been starting at the 25 for our opponents. In that phase, not necessarily the punt phase when you have a 13-yarder go out of bounds.
And it's hard if we can't remember our rights from our lefts. If you call a right cover punt and it goes left, you're going to give up some yardage.
That is an issue. Let's go to Sioux City and Scott. Good evening, Scott. Welcome to Sports Nightly.
Hey, good evening, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
Well, we got coaching changes, and I just wanted to offer my opinion on it. The defense arguably kept us in every single game this year, and there was the outside possibility that we could be unbeaten right now. There's a very realistic possibility that we could have won 3 more games than we have, and if they would have eked out those wins, what are we talking about now? I'd like to think we're still doing what we're doing because this isn't something that happened overnight. Frost's first 2 years were with Riley's players. Last year was COVID, so that's a whatever you want to call it. But this year was all Frost and all of the guys. So I'm interested in your take on that. Thank you.
You know, if you win all those games, nobody's asking for any of this. No. And that's because the one thing is winning cures everything, right? I mean, no matter what's happening, if you're winning – everything is fine, especially in lieu of the seasons that we've had. If all of a sudden we came out and had an 8-4 or a 9-3 year this year, there would be no changes. There would be nothing because it's the old adage of it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Well, something was broken here, and I've talked about it with you plenty about the disconnect between meeting room to practice, practice to game field, right? Like something was missing there, and I think Scott recognized that. And sometimes you do just have to take a full step back and get fresh faces in there in order to make everything connect. I mean, I'm not going to make bold proclamations here, but if you get some new blood in there, there's no reason this thing can't turn around very quickly with the groundwork that has been laid over the last 4 years.
How well did the defense play Saturday in your eyes?
Oh, man, unbelievable. I mean, we had that guy call Monday. It was like, Nadi Lee, I was like, did you watch? I mean, 50.8 points is what they're averaging. We held them to half that. Yeah, they had the big plays, but they're averaging 6 to 8 explosive plays a game. They had 2 because technically they had a 20-yard pass and then the long one to Smith-Ojigba. But, I mean, that's stellar defense. And, again, I'll say it over and over again. We don't have the dude, one guy out there. It's just 11 guys that play so hard for each other. It's really fun to watch.
Let's go back to the phone. Let's go to West Point and Pete. Good evening, Pete. Welcome to the program.
Good evening. How are you doing tonight?
Good.
Very well.
I could be totally wrong here, I guess, but my opinion, just reading through the grapevines of what Trev has said in the past and what Scott has said since he's got here, I think they're going to look for a coordinator that's going to be a little bit more power running oriented. And I think he's going to then look for assistant coaches that are going to be a little bit better on the coaching power football and running the ball. And that is kind of an area we do lack a little bit in, and I think with a better running game, it really opened up the offense. So I guess that's my opinion. I could be totally wrong, but you guys have a good evening.
No, I think you may be onto something. I think they know that down in the red zone, they aren't really built for that, and you have to have a little bit more element of power. Let me ask you, Jeremiah, what do you make of our running back room? Can they adapt? Can the Irvins and the Ramiers and the Yants, is that a good base to build from?
You know, I think Ramir's a testament. The answer is yes, right? When Ramir came in, he was just the speed guy, right? I mean, he was just known as the skinny guy that can run around the edge really fast. He's put a new element of his game of being more of he's not afraid to put his shoulder in there and go. Now, he's not 225 and going to run over someone, but I think that more guys that are coming into college now are not as big as they're going to be, so they kind of develop into that power back a little bit. And I actually kind of agree with him that Scott might be going after a coordinator that's completely maybe not in his same wheelhouse, right? But they can combine their two minds of, hey, here's what I ran with this, and like, here's what you've run with this power, and let's make something really great out of this. I mean, I think kind of Michigan-y, right? Michigan likes to be a power run game, but they also will spread you out.
Yeah.
And they're really good at it. They're really consistent with it. But again, that's going to come down to they have that thunder lightning at running back. We need to get maybe the Yant-Ramir aspect going to there too, which could be something good there. One more thing on that too, Greg. When you start talking about shifting philosophies, you start talking about shifting strength and conditioning too. I mean, right now we're having guys we're running up-tempo offense, right? You got to be in crazy shape. You can't be Wisconsin 320, 325 and huddle and take 38 seconds between plays. You start going, hey, we're not, maybe not huddle, but we're not going to go super tempo. Maybe get some guys a little bigger inside. Get those dudes to gain some weight. I mean, it all works together. Like the internal pieces of an offense go from all the way from strength and conditioning all the way through the play calling to the execution of the play.
You would like to see Turner Corcoran add some weight.
A lot of weight.
Yeah.
Little lead in the pencil.
Right.
I mean, I think
and
that
he could. His body can handle it.
He's young.
Yeah.
The young tackles, man, like everyone looks and is like, oh, it's like sometimes they're just not ready to play, but coach had to put them in there because they're the most talented one we got. We didn't have someone that was in front of them ready to go. Just because they're the most talented doesn't mean they're ready to actually play Big Ten football.
Let's head back to the phones. John, you are up next here on Sports Island. Good evening.
Thanks for taking my call. So I drove up from Salina, Kansas last night, and I watched that ball game. And this seems to be a kind of a continuing theme for Coach Hoiberg's teams. They've struggled every year rebounding, and I think it really kind of comes down to they shoot the ball, and then they're running back to the other end of the court. And that works well if you make the shot, but we didn't shoot the ball very well last night. Now, I think we know we got a better team than that. We saw it already in a couple of exhibition games. These guys can shoot the ball. But there was just a lack of effort. No one was even – they were all flat-footed. The only rebounds we got were ones that fell right into our hands. So I think it can be fixed, and I'm confident about it. But, boy, that was disappointing last night.
To me, John, rebounding is want to. And I don't see a lot of want to for some guys rebounding. I think they like to shoot the ball. They like the spread-out attack of Coach Hoiberg. He's got to find a couple of guys who want to go get the rebounds. And that he's going to have to figure that out as they make your way through. And I'm totally with you. This team will shoot the ball much better than they did last night. All right, phone lines are cleared, 402-413-2400. Give us a call or a text. This holiday season gives the gift of good taste with a gift card from Valentino's during double discount days. Double your discount from $5 to $10 free with a $50 gift card. Valentino's handcrafted pizza has been a family favorite for generations, and now get a $10 gift card for free with a $50 gift card purchase at Valentino's. More of the show coming up next.
A DUI is everything you didn't prepare for. You did not save for it. You did not train for it. You did not go to school for it. You did not raise your family or buy a house or get a job for it. It is not your life goal or a dream come true. You have planned for everything in your life. You did not plan for a DUI. Get a ride.
A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Well, it's halftime. How do we kill 15 minutes?
I think I have some really old hard candies in my purse.
Ick.
Well, we could play rock, paper, scissors.
I'd rather eat the hard candy.
Oh, I forgot. I bought a bunch of Nebraska lottery scratch tickets before we came.
Excellent. Hand them down.
What a great selection. The Nebraska lottery launches new scratch games every month.
Anybody got a quarter to scratch them with? Anybody?
Hey, hand me one of those old hard candies.
Play is good. Go play. Odds vary by game.
At Subaru, they love building vehicles for those who pack a lot into life. The redesigned 2021 Crosstrek is their way of saying more power to you. An upgrade in horsepower means you have a world of fun and adventure waiting for you. And the Crosstrek comes with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. Love, it's what makes Subaru, Subaru. Visit DeTow Subaru at 27th Street and Jamie Lane in Lincoln or at DeTowSubaru.com. Upgraded horsepower available on select models.
Valley 365 is here, and the time is now to take your farming technology full circle. Valley 365 is the ultimate command center, the new single sign-on platform that brings together our tried and true technology and streamlines your entire operation. Combining the best features of AgSense, Valley Scheduling, Valley VRI, and Valley Insights, Valley 365 is the next-level solution for connected crop management. Leverage your data, make the most of your time, and own your tomorrow. Contact your Valley dealer today.
Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic for better health. Why chiropractic? Because it is safe, drug-free, and a cost-effective treatment option for back and joint pain. Plus, all generations can benefit from natural chiropractic care. Choose chiropractic first for pain relief, nutrition, or to improve your mobility, athletic performance, or overall wellness. Make chiropractic your first choice for better health. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Lutz is an integrated business solutions firm born and raised in Nebraska. With offices in Omaha, Lincoln, Hastings, and Grand Island, Lutz provides expert accounting, consulting, financial, technology, M&A, and talent solutions tailored to you. Lutz embraces your business as their own to discover the right solutions to help you thrive. They mind what matters for businesses or individuals seeking a partner to help energize and heighten financial and organizational success. Visit lutz.us/GBR.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
From sprains and stitches to sore throats and sinus infections, when it's care that can't wait, count on CHI Health Clinic Priority Care. Simply walk in 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You'll get the quality care you need without an appointment, and you'll never pay more than a regular primary care visit. Get in, get out, and get on with your day. Find a location near you at chihealth.com/priority care.
Stay up to date with the most current and latest news by following the Huskers on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and more. These social media homes provide the fastest daily updates on everything surrounding Nebraska athletics, including game times, results, ticket promotions, prize giveaways, and more. Log on to also follow several sport-specific pages and Husker head coaches. Join today and interact with thousands of Husker fans around the world. Visit huskers.com/social media to see all of our accounts.
You could win a 2021 Ford F-150 XL four-wheel drive Super Crew truck from the Woodhouse Auto family this season. If the Huskers return the first or second half opening kick for a touchdown, Woodhouse will give away an F-150. New contestants will be chosen each week. For details on how to enter the Woodhouse Auto Family Kickoff Contest and official rules, go to woodhousekickoff.com. That's woodhousekickoff.com.
Walk these fields for 85 years. Grow deeper roots here. Know what thrives here. Bring in world-class genetics and innovative traits like Chrome triple stack corn hybrids and Enlist E3 soybeans. Refine it through pure local know-how and expertise. Do all of that, and the only thing left is the right seed. Hogemeyer. Learn more at therightseed.com.
Here is a before winter to-do list from J-Tech Construction. Let's start with windows. Triple pane window technology has saved homeowners countless dollars on heating and cooling bills. Siding serves a crucially important purpose, protecting your home and insulating it from adverse weather conditions. And don't forget about your roof. Designing your roof should be simple and painless, and J-Tech offers several payment plan options. One more thing on your to-do list, call J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. The Rural Fellows Program doubled their average number of participating students this year, putting UNL student interns to work in 17 Nebraska communities for the summer. Interns use their skills to get real-world experience on a variety of projects, from mapping out trail systems to creating promotional videos to researching and documenting local history.
Visit a participating AGCO dealer between now and November 12th. That's coming up. That's Friday. And enter for a chance to win a pair of tickets to the Nebraska-Iowa game coming up on Black Friday in Lincoln. That will include some pregame tailgate passes. See participating AGCO locations across Nebraska, and you could win this season. Greg Sharpe, Jeremiah Searles with you till the top of the hour. Our volleyball show for the week in hour number 2. And Jalen Reyes, assistant coach, will be here. Get your comments, questions ready. Talk some Husker volleyball in hour number 2. All right, the head coach did meet with the media today. Going to get you a couple of clips of what he had to say today. First off, he talked about how tough the last 72 hours have been for him.
It's been tough. It's been tough on coaches and players and everyone. You know, the guys we let go are really good coaches, and they're even better men. And those are hard decisions that had to be made, and I can't thank those guys enough. I couldn't care about those guys anymore. A lot of the players feel the same way. So it's been a tough 72.
I'm sure it was. I mean, players get attached to their position coaches. That was a tight staff that came, almost all of them came from UCF together. I mean, it's like kind of going through a divorce in a lot of ways.
It is, and I think that the one thing, too, is the public has to understand, too, coaches understand this is kind of the nature of the beast. Like, we look at it as like, man, like, that's got to be so hard, but guess what? Most of these coaches will probably be at another school next year in a different city, in a different state, wearing a different color.
Right.
And that's just, when you sign up to be a coach, that's just what it is. I mean, especially in today's age of college football, like, you don't see coaches that stay somewhere for 20-plus years. Or, I mean, it's a carousel of just state to state, city to city. And so it sucks because I love these guys, but I do know that they were good enough coaches that they're going to be on other staffs somewhere next year.
All right, when did the coach know it was time for changes to be made? Here was his answer.
Yeah, you know, those guys have done unbelievable job helping us to get better. And they're all, like I said, good coaches and even better men. Been talking with Trev for a long time. Appreciate those conversations. You know, it's hard to... We've come so close in so many games, and it's hard to think we can keep doing exactly the same things and get over the top. And it's not any person's fault, any one of those coaches' fault. Sometimes there just needs to be a little different voice and maybe little changes that can make a difference. And the timing was tough in the middle of a season. But everything's going to move really fast here after the season with recruiting and signing day. And it's kind of important to get guys in place to help get those things done. And with a bye week and time to evaluate, I thought that was the best time.
It's got to go fast. Today is the 10th of November. Signing day is the 15th of December. So you've got to go quick as soon as the season ends.
Yeah, and I think that as much as we were looking at it from the football side of, man, letting these guys go with 2 games left is tough, but if Scott and Trev kind of were having these conversations and knew that this might be the direction we're going, I think that Scott didn't want to have to send these guys out on the road to recruit and then have it happen afterwards. I think that might almost be a worse look than telling recruits, hey, this is the plan we're going, here's where we're looking, and that's why we let these guys go, versus these recruits have these coaches sit in their house for the next couple of weeks and everything, and all of a sudden they're gone. Might even be harder for those guys to get over that, right? I mean, I think that's kind of the strategy behind why he did what he did now.
All right, he mentioned his conversations with Trev. The question was asked, when did you go over this whole plan with Trev?
Trev and I talk every week. Some of it's about that kind of stuff. Some of it's about the premiere of Yellowstone. Enjoy talking to him. You know, the idea has been going back and forth for a couple weeks here. And for me, it's an easy decision. You know, I'm in this business primarily because I love the players. I love the mentoring side of this job. I love being around the guys all the time. I took this job because I love Nebraska and I love this university. It would break my heart to think we've made the improvements we've had and gotten it so close in so many games and not get an opportunity to see it through. So it's an easy decision for me to make any sacrifices I have to have the privilege to continue to be here.
First of all, love Yellowstone. Big Yellowstone fan. Second of all, I thought it was interesting where he said it was kind of nice to get calls and have that mentorship piece. And I don't think that's a shot at Bill Moos at all, but I do think that speaks to the relationship of when you wear the N and you played in Memorial Stadium, like you're part of a brotherhood. You're part of something special that not everyone gets to be a part of. And you want to help your brothers out every way along the way. I think Trev wants to feel Scott succeed as much as Scott wants to succeed. And those two having a big relationship, I feel like can put some ease on Scott where he doesn't have to worry about going out and defending himself in the media. He doesn't have to worry about doing that because he knows his AD, which is really the only person that matters, has his back. And seeing the way those two have interacted after games and seeing the way they interact before games, I'm really excited about that relationship moving forward because I've said I think Trev Alberts is one of the best hires Nebraska's ever had up to this point in his first 8 months on the job.
Fantastic. Really has done a good job. All right. He kind of alluded to it that his role could change moving forward. Here's more as he elaborates on what he sees his role as the head coach being.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about that. This job is bigger than a lot of other jobs. There's just a lot more that has to be done on the field and off. Frankly, I've been wearing myself a little thin trying to run the offense and call the offense, and it isn't just game day. It's all week long, and there probably are areas of the program that I could spend more time with if I wasn't so occupied with that. You know, he talked to me about that. I agree. I appreciate his advice on that, and I'm going to do the best I can to put together a team that allows some of those things to happen.
To back up your point earlier, I think everybody should feel good that right now it appears, and maybe we're wrong, but it appears that Trev and Scott are on the same page, and they're communicating and they're listening to one another and they're trying to pull this thing in the right direction.
And I also don't think I don't think Trev has ever been the trump card of I'm AD, you have to listen to me, right? And I don't think Scott Frost ever, and this is my team, I'll do what I want. And that's what kind of polarizes a la Bo Pelini, Sean Eichhorst, right?
No
like
doubt.
It polarizes them, which just leads to nothing good versus the healthy relationship moves really well forward. And Scott said he's going to turn over the keys, and I believe him to an extent. But again, the head coach wears HC on his head for a reason. He will always have final say in the offense because of his background, but that's okay because when you're getting paid the amount of money that he's getting paid, that's what you get paid the big bucks for, as they say. And so I'm excited to see this new offense that maybe will run out there next fall.
Absolutely. Nebraska 811 says go dig red. Before you dig, always call or click 811 to have your utility lines marked. It's free, it's easy, and it's the law. All right, phone lines are open, 402-413-2400. We're back to wrap up hour one next.
Touchdown, Nebraska!
If you're doing business in Nebraska, the best way to connect your organization with the excitement surrounding the Huskers is through a partnership with Nebraska Athletics. You can take your business to the next level by reaching loyal Husker fans through in-venue signage, digital and social media, radio advertising, and more.
Got it!
Join the Husker team today and email partners@huskers.com to learn more about opportunities to connect with Husker Nation. That's partners@huskers.com.
Walk these fields for 85 years. Grow deeper roots here. Know what thrives here. Bring in world-class genetics and innovative traits like Chrome triple stack corn hybrids and Enlist E3 soybeans. Refine it through pure local know-how and expertise. Do all of that, and the only thing left is the right seed. Hogemeyer. Learn more at therightseed.com.
Triple B Feed has the products to help your cows thrive. Whether it's weekly delivery of consumption-controlled Lumix liquid minerals with protein or Redmond natural mineral salt for livestock or humans, Triple B has you covered. Let Brian and Brad Blahorn take some of the stress out of your beef production this year. For more information and other products, visit triplebfeed.com. Triple B Feed, helping you and your cattle.
Valley 365 is here, and the time is now to take your farming technology full circle. Valley 365 is the ultimate command center, the new single sign-on platform that brings together our tried and true technology and streamlines your entire operation. Combining the best features of AgSense, Valley Scheduling, Valley VRI, and Valley Insights, Valley 365 is the next level solution for connected crop management. Leverage your data, make the most of your time, and own your tomorrow. Contact your Valley dealer today.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
At Jimmy John's, we don't make sandwiches. We make the sandwich of sandwiches. We use fresh veggies because we don't hate salads. We just feel bad for them. We make our sandwiches exactly how you want because you're the one who's eating it. And we bake bread all day, every day because stale bread isn't bread. It's croutons. Sandwich history is written by the victors. Good thing we have legible handwriting. Jimmy John's, the sandwich of sandwiches. Order pickup or delivery on the app.
It's game on at Sid Dillon Buick GMC Cadillac in Fremont, featuring our winning combination of Buick SUVs and GMC trucks and SUVs. And as a GMC Business Elite dealer, we offer commercial vehicles for your business needs. For the convenient and easy way to shop for your next vehicle, just visit our Fremont location or check out our full inventory at SidDillonBuickGMC.com.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
We are professional grade.
Our Sports Nightly Hotline is brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family Shop. Woodhouse, first 18 brands, 16 convenient locations. Simplified car buying to save you time. Shop finance. Buy online at woodhouse.com. Greg Sharpe, Jeremiah Searles for a couple of more minutes. Our volleyball show coming up in hour number 2. Jalen Reyes will be here. Huskers signed 3 players in the volleyball class. We'll hear from Jalen about that. 402-413-2400, the number to dial us up with a comment or question. Let's go to McCook and Dan. Good evening, Dan. Welcome to the program.
Good evening, gentlemen. I have a question for you, gentlemen. Adrian reminds me of a major league pitcher where he'll strike out 2 batters, hit the 3rd guy, and then give up a home run pitch. Can coaching fix this? That's all hang up and listen to you.
You know, I think coaching can fix it, not necessarily from the what kind of player is he, but the situations that he then gets put in. And what I say by that is you have the coach that says, hey, it's really hard to coach a guy like Adrian Martinez when it's 3rd and 9 and 3rd and 10 the whole time, right? That's just not what he needs to be. But I do think you can coach him in decision-making. I think you can coach him in understanding of football. Again, I'm not saying that Mario didn't do these things, but you can always learn more about the game of football. It's the most intricate game you'll ever learn. Defenses are so crazy, things you can learn. I think there's always room for growth, and sometimes with a player like that, bringing in, again, something fresh, something new, can reinvigorate that growth and that thirst for the knowledge of the game, which as a quarterback, you have to be the smartest player on the field all the time.
On our text line, I heard today on another show that the top defensive players are Mike Riley players. What are we going to do next year when all those guys leave? I don't think that's necessarily
Luke Reimer's
true.
not a Mike Riley guy, is he?
Nick
He's
Henrich,
our best defensive player.
Garrett Nelson.
Ty Robinson.
Casey Rogers. No, there's a mix in there, but that's not a Mike Riley.
Ben Stilley,
bash.
but he's been here sinst I was here in 2009, it feels like.
Ben Stilley probably goes back to the Pelini years.
Yeah, he's college forever, man.
That available as well. So now I think there's a little bit of truth to that. JoJo, yes. Stilley, yes. So 6-year guys, absolutely. Were. But yeah, I think there's a pretty good mix of guys that are.
And honestly, I mean, they brought right in, but this staff developed them.
Yeah,
You want to talk about development? Like, yeah, all those guys were. Every player that comes here is talented.
Right.
How they develop is on the staff.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Huskers off of the bye week this week. We'll get ready for a really tough Wisconsin team in a week. The Badgers play Northwestern this week. We got to pick some games tomorrow. That's our last show of the week.
Yeah.
Now, Jessica's on assignment. If she doesn't submit her picks, what do we just?
We let
pick
Andrew
for her?
pick for her. I think we let Andrew. Her and Andrew can just go together and make their picks.
Okay.
You hear that, Jessica? Andrew. Andrew will make your picks.
There's some great games this week, particularly in the league. Michigan, Penn State's a pretty good battle.
Yeah, I mean, there's some really fun
Minnesota,
ones.
Iowa.
They could be good, man. I mean, that's the battle for the West right there.
Well, there's a 4-way tie for the West.
It's crazy.
That's the thing. We got to put a Diet Pepsi on the line for who wins the West.
I'm in.
4-way tie with
I'm in
3 to
for it.
go.
I'll be watching from a tree stand, so have a good time.
Good for you. If somebody in the chat room want to know if you got a buck today.
Not yet, but it will happen.
Okay.
Speak
You're
it into
stalking
existence.
one.
Yes, there's a monster out there. There's a swamp donkey out there. I'm gonna find him.
Very good. Thanks for coming in. We'll be back tomorrow night.
Go Big Red. See you guys.
Buckle up, put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. 1 hour in the books. Our volleyball show coming up in the next hour. Chandler Reyes will be here. We'll talk Husker volleyball. Big day for them in the signing era. We'll get into that next.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
You could win a 2021 Ford F-150 XL four-wheel drive Super Crew truck from the Woodhouse Auto family this season. If the Huskers return the first or second half opening kick for a touchdown, Woodhouse will give away an F-150. New contestants will be chosen each week. For details on how to enter the Woodhouse Auto Family Kickoff Contest and official rules, go to woodhousekickoff.com. That's woodhousekickoff.com.
Well, it's halftime. How do we kill 15 minutes?
I think I have some really old hard candies in my purse.
Ick.
Well, we could play rock, paper, scissors.
I'd rather eat the hard candy.
Oh, I forgot. I bought a bunch of Nebraska lottery scratch tickets before we came.
Excellent. Hand them down.
What a great selection. The Nebraska lottery launches new scratch games every month.
Anybody got a quarter to scratch them with? Anybody?
Hey, hand me one of those old hard candies.
Play is good. Go play. Odds vary by game.
Hey, Husker fans, if you're looking for an exciting new career as part of your pandemic recovery, Iowa has over 75,000 job openings in industries such as healthcare, advanced manufacturing, construction, IT, and ag. IowaWorks.gov has more information about job openings, earn while you learn apprenticeships, and exciting training and scholarship opportunities. Find your next great job in Iowa. They've got a solid game plan, a bright future, and want you on their team. www.iowaworks.gov.
Sometimes being an office printer feels like I'm competing in an Olympic sport. Thankfully, I have Marco's Managed Print Services on my team. Marco's game plan helps me make big plays while saving big bucks. And Marco's lightning fast tech support gets me back in the game fast. I'm up. Find out what your printers could be saying with Marco's Managed Print Services at marconet.com.
Live from the Acres Broadcast Center inside East Stadium, this is the Nebraska Volleyball Show. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Cheering trade or whenever a native of Illinois serves for Nebraska. Served by Maddie Kubik. Bad. That's an ace. Nebraska with 3 in a row. Maddie Kubik apparently fueled by this derisive chant from the Illinois student section. Served by Lauren Stivrins. It's an ace. Service ace. Lauren Stivrins. She's trying to figure out why she hasn't been serving her entire Husker career. Sends the serve. That's a bad pass around the system again. Passing worse than a kidney stone. Left side roll shot. Here come the Huskers. Keela Cafe. We're done. Nebraska wins. A sweep in Illinois.
Here is your host, Greg Sharpe, on the Huskers Radio Network.
And thank you. Welcome to the hour of Husker Volleyball Chatter. Love to have you be a part of this one as well. Coach Reyes with us until the top of the hour. 402-413-2400, the number to call or fire off a text. We were chuckling at some of JB's calls there about Lauren Stivrins' serving prowess at Illinois. She was good that night at Illinois.
She was awesome. Yeah, she served the ball really well. She had a really good week of practice and actually served it really well in her serve and pass that day, and that's kind of why we decided to go with her.
How is she? And good to have you with us, by the way. Good to have you here in our new digs.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Nice to have you here. How is she? You guys were so careful with her coming out of that surgery in the spring and getting her ready. She firing on all cylinders yet, or can you still see where some guy, okay, the old Maddie might have done this here? Where do you think Lauren is right now with some of that?
I think she's 100% full go,
yep.
And kind of not holding back physically. You know, we taper what they're doing just because Lauren and Kayla jump a ton just because of the position they play. But in terms of, you know, I know she still does some rehab stuff with Jolene. But in terms of her being full go, I think she's pretty much full go.
Okay, well, it was quite a week. You had a long trip because you didn't come back to Lincoln. You played, and then we heard some highlights from the Illinois match. Stayed on the road, then went over and played a really good Buckeye team who had lost 2 nights before to Minnesota. Just your thoughts about those 2 matches.
Illinois, I thought we came out pretty well. We didn't pass the ball as good as we've been passing the ball. So I think we were down in a couple of sets.
We were 2 and 3, yeah.
And I think it was a lot of serve-receive stuff. Illinois played pretty well. They did some things differently than when we played them here in Lincoln probably a month ago. And but we started serving the ball really, really well at the end of those 2 sets. And Lauren went on a serving run in set 3, and I can't remember who went on a serving run in set 2, but it was kind of 2 really solid serving runs that kind of got us over the hump, and you know we were able to finish that in 3. And then Saturday, yeah, we didn't. Ohio State played very well, kind of the same passing issues. We started the match not passing really good and kind of got us on our heels a little bit and kind of bled into sets 2 and 3. And then it was kind of opposite in terms of we had leads at the end of sets 1 and 3, I know from the top of my head. And we just weren't able to put balls away. And Ohio State, credit to them, they played really well, kind of in the 20s. And, you know, in the Big Ten, especially with 2 good teams, you know, the team that usually plays the best, especially when the score gets into the late teens and the 20s, usually they're going to win, and they did that 2 out of 3 sets.
Well, and we saw some examples of that when you played at Minnesota. I know you didn't win the match, but you had some big comebacks late in sets to get that to 5. And it seemed to me Saturday night that not hanging on in set 1 was probably deflating mentally for the team.
I think it was you know, long road trip. We didn't start off very well. We went on a run, and I think we exerted a lot of energy or mojo or momentum to kind of get over, you know, kind of build that lead again and take the lead in the first set. And, you know, we had a couple swings to finish it, and we didn't. I think you could kind of feel a little bit of that, just the human element of that. And then, you know, credit to Ohio State, they came out and jumped on us in set 2. They could have relaxed, and they didn't. They played pretty well, and they kind of built a pretty good lead. And then set 3, you know, we had the same thing, but you know, just wasn't our night. And you know, in the Big Ten, especially the top half, you know, you can lose to anybody if you don't play very well, and that's kind of what we did. And you know, kind of wish we got to play those guys again. We don't, just because of the schedule, but we learned from it, and hopefully we can rebound Friday night.
You mentioned earlier that you had played Illinois prior to the match in Champaign last week. How different are some of the second time you play somebody? Does it just depend on the staff that you're facing, that they make major changes or slight tweaks? And how much do you guys tweak things when you play somebody a second time?
I feel like there's a little bit of the second time you play somebody, you're almost more likely to, I guess, overthink something, or
I can see that. Yeah.
typically we'll scout when we scout somebody for their, the first time we play them. Of course, if you play a Big Ten team, especially with players that have been coming back, you kind of look back to last year. But typically we usually look at their last 5 or 6 matches, depending on who we're playing. But sometimes when you play a team maybe a month ago, you look at their 5 or 6 matches, but then you also include your match against us, and you try to see what that team specifically did against us, and see, like, okay, are they doing this against the other teams they played since they played us, and then then you also take into account, okay, were they successful doing this? So there is a little, I guess, cat and mouse game that goes into, especially when you play the team twice, and then. I think it depends on the staff to a degree. We're a little more familiar with some staffs than others, and in the Big Ten, everyone has their style that they want to play. So we try to, I guess, attack what historically a Wisconsin or a Minnesota or a Purdue likes to do. So that way, we can kind of benefit from it.
How much video study do you guys do as a staff? Do you assign one person to scout a certain team? Do you collaborate? Take me through the process of getting ready for a match.
Yeah, we watch a lot of video. I'm not going to say we watch the most video compared to other staffs, but we watch a ton of video on the other team. We'll go specifically into personnel, and then what they do rotation-wise, what they do serving-wise, where they like to hit the ball in certain situations. And we have a big staff effort. So we have a kind of a crew with us, a bunch of grad managers that will get out ahead of us. So those guys are actually already looking into Penn State and Rutgers for next week. So they get out probably a week in advance, just because we have those guys, and then we'll circle back. So last week they were working on, we'll use Maryland for an example because we played Maryland Friday night. Those guys were already working on Maryland over the weekend and even kind of into last week. So then when Monday hits, Tyler and I and Coach can kind of dig into Maryland, but we kind of already have a template of what we're looking at, if that makes sense. They kind of, okay, hey, they play these couple of people. This is what their setter likes to do. So we kind of go into it. We don't go into it blind to a degree, and it helps us kind of allows us coaches to, of course, we want to watch film on our opponent, but it gives us time to watch our own stuff, because from last week we have stuff from our own team that we need to work on. So we don't want to spend so much time worrying about the other team, because a lot of, especially volleyball, but I think in all sports, a lot of it is what your team is doing. And if we're spending, 80% of our film study looking at the other team, then we're only spending 20% on us, versus the fact that the boys get that initial look at an opponent allows us to spend a little bit more time on our blocking and our serving and our passing. So.
And Coach made the comment in postgame after the Ohio State match. He said he was looking forward to having a week where you could do some practicing, because you had been kind of into a routine of playing Saturday or Sunday and then Wednesday and then Friday and Saturday. So you really didn't have a lot of extended with the one day off that you have to take by the NCAA rules. He was looking forward to some time in the gym. Has that been helpful this week?
It's been awesome. We went hard today and we went hard yesterday, which is typically what we like to do. And then if we play a game on Friday, Coach will taper off on Thursday to kind of keep them fresh, get ready for Friday night. But yeah, it's been great. It's been a while since we've gotten to do this. Probably, I don't think we've gotten to do this in the Big Ten season, just because we've always kind of played either pretty much Wednesday or last week was Thursday matches. So it's been awesome just to be able to train hard for 2 days and let the girls recover a bit too. But we want to work on some stuff, and I think part of it also is being able to, especially in Big Ten matches, we talk about wanting to be good when it's 18-all or later in the set. And some of that is just being able to grind through stuff. So the fact that we've been able to practice hard those last couple of days kind of puts the girls in that environment of being able to have to grind through drills and finish stuff, and kind of make sure, hey, we take care of stuff, versus these last couple of weeks, we haven't really been able to push them because we play on a Wednesday and then we turn around and we don't want to push them on Thursday because we played last night, and then Friday is the day before another game. So just the way the schedule works, and that's kind of how it's been for a lot of people. But we've been definitely looking forward to this week, and then obviously next week kind of have the same schedule to where we can train, especially train hard on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
It's our Husker volleyball show for the week. Jalen Reyes with us tonight. 402-413-2400, the number to dot us up with a comment or question or fire off a text. It's getting deep into the season. How much do you monitor and have to worry about, because you want to go hard at times in practices, but you also, you're coming down the stretch run here where you got to be really good in December. How do you monitor that you're not overworking them this deep into the season?
Yeah, Coach does a great job of this. I mean, he monitors them all year. But I know in years past, this is typically where, a 3-hour practice turns into 2 hours and 45 minutes. So I think that's one thing he does. And he has binders in his office that literally has, like, practice plans from, back in the 2000s. And he does a library. It really is. You go in his office, it's kind of a library with everything, especially volleyball. But he does a really good job of, even from his specific drills, kind of, okay, hey, I can guesstimate a middle blocker will jump this many times, or the outside hitter will swing this many times. Obviously, it depends on how many times they get set, but he just does a really good job of thoroughly planning practice with the idea of, okay, we want to push the girls, but at the same time, it does us no good if they're dead by Friday, So we do a lot of things recovery-wise with them. We do a lot of video study to maybe kind of replace jump and hit practices. But Coach Cook, in terms of, like, that's a big focus for him. And I think all coaches say that to a degree. But if you were to come to our practice come to our meetings before our practice with the coaching staff, he does a really good job of making sure we're not jumping specific players too much or working players, or he'll even get players out of drills randomly because, hey, she's playing great. We don't need to overdo it with her. Maybe we don't call practice, but, hey, Lexi Sun or Maddie Kubik, you're going to be in the background and just pass the rest of practice. You're not going to jump anymore. So he does a really good job of that. And sometimes Tyler and I, we're so dialed into what we're doing with our position or, working on offensive stuff that he does a really good job of, like, reining that in to a degree. And even we're like, come on, Coach, it's a couple more jumps.
Turn them loose.
But he has experience, and that's kind of one thing, knock on wood, but he does a really good job of keeping his players healthy throughout the year. And I think you can even see that in the fact that we have a lot of players that play past Nebraska, and obviously we had a couple Olympians this past summer, and I think that's a big thing to where a lot of girls, when they played so much club volleyball. They play volleyball from when they're 8 years old. They play volleyball 10 or 11 months out of the year, and then they go to college and do the same thing, and by the time they're 22, their bodies are done. Versus, Coach takes pride in, like, hey, they're gonna keep getting stronger through college, and if they want to keep playing, and they can keep playing, and his program has a reputation of obviously producing players that are able to play past the collegiate level. So
speaks pretty well too of your strength and conditioning staff, because I'm sure they help monitor that too for you guys.
Yeah, Brian Committed does a great job of different phases of the year. Right now we're in a strength with maintain, and then obviously in January into the summer, that's when we're building. But yeah, that's something that's talked about each and every day. And, we monitor how many jumps or how many swings the girls take in each practice or matches. And, if we have a long 5-setter on a Wednesday, maybe those players that played a ton, they're not really doing much in practice on Thursday. We'd love to train them, but again, hey, the most important thing is they're fresh for matches and obviously healthy and be able to play. So I think in NFL, they call it your best ability is your availability. So, that's a big thing for us in Nebraska.
Nebraska 811 says, go dig red. Before you dig, always call or click 811 to have your utility lines marked. It's free, it's easy, and it's the law. How about your freshmen? You got an interesting mix this year, obviously with the COVID year and people getting the 6th year back. You've got some real veteran players, and you have some real young players in the program. Do you notice the young players, the freshmen, hitting a wall? Because, this season, and you talked about club ball, so that changes a little bit, but the collegiate season is so much longer than a high school season would be, and I know they go on into club practice, but do you see that they kind of hit, maybe it's more mental than it is physical for them?
Yeah, I think we're seeing that around the conference, not just with us. But
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a little more highlighted with us, one, because I'm around us more than other teams, but we have a lot of them, and we're relying on a lot of the younger players to play. And I can see it to a degree, and I was talking to a couple of them this week, actually, about, like, you know, just it is a little bit longer, and you add the travel, and then you add
school.
Yeah, you add school, and then you add the fact that, you know, we're in the Big Ten, right? Most high school programs, realistically, you play 30, you know, you might play mid-20s to 30 matches in high school, but it's in a condensed season. Some of them are, you know, a lot of the matches are best 2 out of 3, not 3 out of 5. And then, I mean, to be honest, usually most of our girls go to schools where they have good high school programs, so they're kind of probably throttling 20 of those matches. They're probably just kind of putting it in cruise control and can win. Here, for the most part, you're having to go hard each and every day, you know, to just survive this conference, let alone, you know, kind of hover toward the top that we are right now. And that's something that Coach, I think even starting last week, that's something he started. Whenever it gets to November, that's kind of every freshman class, that's when he starts talking about, hey, freshmen, this is what the deal is. And this is now the point of the year where high school state championship for Nebraska just finished last week. So normally you're not playing you're not doing anything now. So that's a reminder that he sets in every single day. And, you know, he always talks about the freshmen, like, hey, freshmen, you guys are going to determine the level of practice today based on, hey, if you guys are checked out, you know, it's not going to be a great practice, but you guys are all dialed in. It's going to be a great practice. So he does that, and he has a certain way of being able to, I guess, massage his point in. And then it's kind of funny, at the end of the year, he'll even call the freshmen, you're no longer freshmen. You're sophomores now.
Yeah.
He usually does that around the NCAA tournament time. So, but we do notice that. And I think I think to your point, I think it is more mental than physical. Just because I think a lot of them are actually in pretty good, you know, of course they're all sore, but I think that a lot of them are in really strong places physically, but it's just the mental of, like, okay, hey, getting up and grinding. I know these 2 days, some of them were spent after today, which is great because we asked them to empty the tank to a degree. So now they'll reload tonight, reload tomorrow night, and then hopefully, you know, we can tee it up and play really well on Friday.
402-413-2400, the number to dot us up with a comment or question. Let's go to Omaha. Doc of Rock. Good evening. Welcome, Doc.
Hey, good to call in on a volleyball show. Go Big Red. So obviously this season in particular, we have the mix of talent. I mean, great segue to what you guys were just talking about, to the points that I wanted to bring up. You know, having freshmen starting. I don't know how many teams across the land are starting as many freshmen as we have at any one given point in time. So with that, I think you got to imagine that, excuse me, that lends itself to later in the season, later in the season, you know, being a bit more fresh. So comment on that, if you would, please, and then a follow-up question, just real quick, as far as lineup choice and who you have in the game against, say, a particular team. And you're going to school me on this, because I know substitutions are different in basketball. There's a lot more substitutions. Football, 11-man sport, things like that. So with volleyball, you know, you may have a couple of teams ago, I forget the team name, but they had a giant. I think the gal was 6'9". So is there emphasis on particular players that start or play most of that particular match? And what's the hindsight on that, you know, having faced that particular player? So I know I'm throwing a lot out. So thank you for your time, and I'll listen off air. Thanks.
No worries. Thanks for calling. To your first point, yeah, as you're asking the question, I'm trying to think about teams that are playing freshmen. Wisconsin is playing a couple of freshmen. Anna Schmreck is the 6'9" girl you're talking about. And then they had another really, really talented freshman. I would probably say if this Big Ten season were to end today, Julia Orzel will probably be the Big Ten freshman of the year. So they're relying on 2 freshmen. Trying to think. Minnesota pretty much has all upperclassmen. Penn State has all upperclassmen. So a lot of the best teams around the country are kind of relying on older players. So in terms of heavily relying on a bunch of freshmen and sophomores especially, I would say we're probably one of the teams to do so. Is it a disadvantage? I don't know. You know, I think the fact that we got to play so many people, especially early, even before the Big Ten season, probably helps us going into the NCAA tournament. So hopefully we are fresh. So I think it's a mixed bag of, you know, it helps us to a degree that the fact that we had so many freshmen to be able to play right away just because it allows us to kind of have options, especially as we go throughout the season. But you could also make an argument, hey, you know, the fact that you have these teams that have a bunch of 6-year players or 5th-year players that normally in a normal year obviously wouldn't have been here, you know, they have a ton of experience. They'll have, you know, Wisconsin has a couple of freshmen, but they also have 5 or 6 players that have played in 4. Now this will be their 5th NCAA tournament when you think about that, you know, and that's just a ton of experience that you can't replicate, you know, unless you're kind of in it. And we have a bunch of girls that are like that too, that have a ton of experience. So, but in terms of relying on freshmen, I think we're one of the teams that really heavily rely on, you know, I can think of 3 off the top of my head, really rely on freshmen.
The lineup question.
And then lineup question. With subs in volleyball and women's volleyball, we have 15 substitutions. So I know that sounds like
game.
Per set. Yeah.
Right,
so
right.
each set starts anew. Anytime the libero runs in and out, it doesn't count. So that's kind of why they kind of created this position in the first place. But when we sub players in and out, you know, if I were to sub somebody in and sub them out, that counts as 2 substitutions. And I know it sounds like a lot, but when you have all this siding out, and in fact, the fact that we bring in a DS for one of our front row attackers, so we bring in Keone Leakana for Lindsay Krause, and then we bring Kenzie Knuckles in for either Allie Bettenhorst or Lexi Sun. Every time they go in and out, it counts. So by the time we get to like 2 times around the horn, we're already at 12, 13, and if you know, we run out of, you know, if we get to the end of the set and let's just say we play overtime set, we run out of subs. And we've done that a couple of times. I don't know if you remember against Minnesota, we had the end of the second set, Kenzie Knuckles blocked Stephanie Samade. And it wasn't like, oh, genius coaching move to put her in. It was like we had no choice. She had to play just because we ran out of substitutions because I think that set went 28-26 or something like that. But to kind of dial in your question in terms of, you know, the roster choices based on subs, a little bit of that goes into that. We try to think, okay, how are we going to play the best volleyball on our side of the net? So who gives us the best chance to, you know, serve and pass really well? That's something Coach always talks about. Our best servers and passers he wants us to play. And then the other thing he talks about is making sure we can side out. So we want to have players that can side out. So I'll use Kayla Caffey as an example. Kayla Caffey, stature-wise, isn't the biggest middle in the Big Ten, but she's 5th in hitting percentage, and she kills a lot of volleyballs for us. So what we lose in maybe height with her, you know, she makes up for an offensive ability. But against like Wisconsin, for a team that has 2 6'7", you know, 6'6" and a 6'8" middle blocker, it's a little tough. So when we play against them, maybe the next time we'll think about putting maybe some more size in front of those guys. But you know, you kind of try to do what you can do with your team, and what you sacrifice here, you might gain something else here. So it's a very good question, to be honest.
Doc, appreciate the phone call. He dialed us up on our Sports 90 hotline, which is brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto Family. Shop Woodhouse first, 18 brands, 16 convenient locations, simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com. Todd and Grand Island, hang on, 402-413-2400. A lot more with Coach Reyes coming up.
When you choose Woodman Life, you choose a better life insurance company. Yes, Woodman Life is life insurance, but so much more. Woodman Life is here to protect your family's financial future and offer help when the going gets tough. And Woodman Life is honored to join you in the celebration of family, community, and country. Get to know Woodman Life at woodmanlife.org. Woodman of the World Life Insurance Society, Omaha, Nebraska. You always dreamed of owning your own farm. Now you're living your dream, and it's time to pick the tractor that makes it all come together. Massey Ferguson has reinvented what compact and utility tractors can be and redefined what they do, making them easier to operate, more comfortable to drive, more versatile than ever. Massey Ferguson gives Nebraska farmers the power and performance to win in the field. Osceola Implement in Osceola, Nebraska, your locally owned Massey Ferguson dealer, proud supporters of the Huskers and Nebraska farmers. Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red. What is highbid.com? It's the online auction site for just about everything under the sun. Art and antiques, cars and coins, office equipment and furniture, toys and tools. You can find it all at highbid.com. Highbid.com gives you access to thousands of auctions across the USA and around the world. Browse the most popular auctions, search for the exact item you want, or just explore the site. Go to highbid.com. That's HIBID.com and find what you're looking for today.
This year, don't just get ready, get holiday ready with Ford. And the best place to start is at your local Ford dealer. Whether you're getting out to the mall or getting off the grid, we've got a Ford SUV that's perfect for you. Or check out America's best-selling trucks, Ford F-Series. Inventory is arriving daily, so get the season started off right and get our best offers during the Get Holiday Ready sales event at your local Ford dealer. Best-selling claim based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
You trained for this all year. Endless hours of cardio, conditioning, and weights. And now, you are ready. Ready to trek back to your seat from the concession stand. Through the lines, lost fans, and that mascot who wants you to do a little dancey dance. All without spilling a drop of your ice-cold Bud Light. Welcome back to football, sports fans.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Lutz is an integrated business solutions firm born and raised in Nebraska with offices in Omaha, Lincoln, Hastings, and Grand Island. Lutz provides expert accounting, consulting, financial, technology, M&A, and talent solutions tailored to you. Lutz embraces your business as their own to discover the right solutions to help you thrive. They mind what matters for businesses or individuals seeking a partner to help energize and heighten financial and organizational success. Visit lutz.us/GBR.
Addie's Sports Bar and Grill is the place to watch Nebraska games this season. Locally owned and operated, Addie's is Omaha's premier sports bar with 4 locations in Elkhorn, Maple Street, Millard, and a new flagship Capitol location in downtown Omaha. If it's Husker game day, it's on at Addie's. Addie's Sports Bar and Grill is Omaha's official watch party spot with game day giveaways, prizes, fun, and more surprises later in the season. Addie's Sports Bar and Grill. See you there for the game.
This year, don't just get ready, get holiday ready with Ford. And the best place to start is at your local Ford dealer. Whether you're getting out to the mall or getting off the grid, we've got a Ford SUV that's perfect for you. Or check out America's best-selling trucks, Ford F-Series. Inventory is arriving daily, so get the season started off right and get our best offers during the Get Holiday Ready sales event at your local Ford dealer. Best-selling claim based on 1977 to 2020 calendar year total sales.
Hey Husker fans, if you're looking for an exciting new career as part of your pandemic recovery, Iowa has over 75,000 job openings in industries such as healthcare, advanced manufacturing, construction, IT, and ag. IowaWorks.gov has more information about job openings, earn while you learn apprenticeships, and exciting training and scholarship opportunities. Find your next great job in Iowa. They've got a solid game plan, a bright future, and want you on their team. www.iowaworks.gov. Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
It's football season. Husker Nation and Famous Dave's is here to make your tailgate, house party, or get-together famous. Award-winning and house-smoked St. Louis-style ribs, Texas beef brisket, Georgia chopped pork, and house-made sides like our Wilbur beans, creamy coleslaw, and Dave's cheesy mac and cheese will surely tackle any barbecue craving. Visit famousdaves.com for all your catering and online ordering needs, or come visit us at our locations in Lincoln and Bellevue.
Back on our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres Equipment, Nebraska's premier John Deere dealer with 27 locations across Nebraska and into Kansas. Acres Solutions for every field. It's our volleyball show for the week. Greg Sharpe sitting in for John Bader. Jalen Reyes, Husker assistant coach, with us here until the top of the hour tonight. If you want to be a part of the program with a call or a text, 402-413-2400. Let's go to Grand Island. Todd, you're up next with Coach Reyes.
Hey, thank you, gentlemen, for taking my call. And Jalen, I just had a couple of questions. And first, I want to thank you for being a part of the family here. Your focus and dedication on the sidelines is really impressive to watch, and it's great to have you. Also, you seem to be green card gold, because when I see you turn to Cook saying, "Hey, throw the green card," it's usually money in the bank. You must have like 20/10 vision. You're like an eagle. But my girlfriend always get fired up. We're like, Jalen's got this. So thank you for that. A couple just questions, and I don't know if these are difficult or not in terms of answering them, but with Lexi's son not starting, I was just wondering what that's like as a coach, especially you've been around the program, and a gal as talented as that not starting, what that dynamic is like within a team. Just the feeling of this girl that's so gifted, but you've got to put the best gals out there, what that's like as coaches, if it changes anything, or you just have to sort of professionally march through it. And also just, Jalen, if you could please comment on the development of the Lowenstein and Batenhorst as far as outside hitters and where you see that's going and what kind of ceiling they have. Again, Jalen, thank you so much for being on the sidelines. Love your work there, and I'll listen to your answers off the air.
Thank you. Thanks for calling. To answer your first question, with having to do with Lexi, for us, it's the best players are going to play, and the players that we feel like they're going to give us the best chance to win, we're going to play. This year we had a ton of depth in terms of, we had a huge, very gifted freshman class come into the program, and we had some players that typically would graduate, come back to the program. So you have this weird mix of a bunch of 22 and 23-year-olds coming in with this big class of 18-year-olds. So that's kind of the first point. So in the beginning of the year, we kind of wanted to see, what would stick. So that's why we kind of mix people around and see different positions, and wanted to see and give everyone a chance to see what they could do on the bright stage. It's one thing if you do something really well in high school, but now you're at Nebraska, and kind of see if you can perform under the bright lights. So that's kind of one thing. And I know Lexi wasn't playing, especially at the start of the Big Ten season, as much as I think probably people anticipated, but we felt like, hey, that was kind of the right route to go. Allie was playing really well at the beginning of the year, and we just felt like that gave us the best chance to win. And I think the biggest thing for us, and there was no pushback from any of those players, especially Lexi, and she was great, and she came in every single day and worked really, really hard, and she was ready for opportunity, and she played really well. She played actually pretty well this past week, and able to kind of take her spot back, I guess. And it's kind of a credit to just, hey, when you don't get to play right away, just keep working, don't complain, don't do any of that stuff, don't do anything to hurt the team, be a team player first. And the fact that she kept working hard and she was ready for opportunity, and your opportunity, we tell them all the time, your opportunity is going to come. Are you going to be ready for it? And she was ready for it. And she played really well this past week, so we're kind of looking forward to that going into this week. Second question?
Batenhorst and some of the other freshmen.
Yeah. Allie and Whitney are very gifted volleyball players and very gifted athletes. Whitney Lowenstein's probably one of the most physically gifted 18-year-olds, especially on the women's side, that I've gotten to work with. She's developing at a really, really high pace. She still does some stuff that maybe kind of causes our coaching staff to scratch her head a little bit. But she's a freshman, and the thing about Whitney is she's really relatively new to her new position. I think it was her sophomore going into her junior year, she finally became a full-time outside hitter. She was a middle before that. So just getting to learn the nuances of that position. And when you're in the middle, usually you get sets that on good passes, you usually get good sets and in-system stuff. Now, playing on the pin, whichever she plays opposite or on the outside, she's having to deal with all different types of sets. And that's kind of the biggest transition is, everyone can kill these in-system balls, and she does some stuff that I don't think, some of I don't know, but she does stuff in our gym that not a lot of people can do, especially when it's in system. But out of system, that's where she needs to get better. And then Allie has a chance to be a really good 6-rotation player. When I mean 6 rotations, be able to play all the way around in each rotation. Being the fact that she could be a good defender, a good server, and a good passer, not just a good hitter or blocker. She's getting better passing. For us, it's just, can we get that more consistent? She has some really good days, and she has some other days that maybe not as good. So for us, for both of them, is can they be consistent? But they constantly show signs of doing some awesome things, and we feel like they're going to be 2 huge parts of the program going forward.
Todd, appreciate the phone call. Todd dialed us up on our Sports Nightly hotline, brought to you by the Woodhouse Auto family. Shop Woodhouse first, 18 brands, 16 convenient locations, simplified car buying to save you time. Shop, finance, and buy online at woodhouse.com. Need to slip a break in? 402-413-2400, the number to dial us up with a comment or question. More with the coach coming up.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2021 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. It'll get you off the beaten path with 8.7 inches of ground clearance, more than Toyota RAV4 or Honda Passport. It's the best Outback ever. The 2021 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Comparison based on competitor information from manufacturer websites as of July 2020. Visit Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue or at beardmoresubaru.com.
Welcome to Ag Answers. Today we're talking about renewable biofuels like corn ethanol and soy biodiesel. Electric vehicles continue to make headlines as we look for ways to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. But did you know by using ethanol, you can reduce greenhouse gas emissions by up to 46% compared to traditional gasoline and by up to 86% when you use biodiesel compared to petroleum diesel? Locally produced biofuels are the here and now solution to combating climate change. They are good for our air, good for our wallets, and good for Nebraska. This message is brought to you by Nebraska's corn and soybean farmers.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. UNL has been named one of the best schools for veterans for the 5th year in a row. The ranking on the Military Times Best for Vets survey reflects the hard work of Nebraska's Military and Veteran Success Center, serving military dependents, veterans, National Guard members, active duty troops, and many Husker students in the reserves.
When you choose Woodman Life, you choose a better life insurance company. Yes, Woodman Life is life insurance, but so much more. Woodman Life is here to protect your family's financial future and offer help when the going gets tough. And Woodman Life is honored to join you in the celebration of family, community, and country. Get to know Woodman Life at woodmanlife.org. Woodman of the World Life Insurance Society, Omaha, Nebraska.
There's a call on the field for a quality seed specific to where you farm. Make the right call with Prairie Valley. With local research in 8 regions throughout Nebraska, Prairie Valley performs with their locally specific hybrids and varieties while achieving the highest quality and yield. No matter where you farm in Nebraska, Prairie Valley has the seed for where you are. Find a local dealer and learn more about the seed for where you are at prairievalleyseeds.com.
Preparation. It's the key to success on game day. And like your favorite Huskers on the field, you need to be ready right from the opening kickoff. Cenex has your pregame routine covered. We've got your salty snacks, your sweet treats, ice-cold beverages to wash them down, and fresh tanks of propane to fire up the grill. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Score a game-winning drive when you buy your next vehicle at Sid Dillon Chevrolet. As a Chevrolet Business Elite dealer, we offer commercial vehicles, including medium-duty trucks and low-cab forwards. Whatever vehicle fits your needs, we're here to make the purchase process easy. Visit our Chevy locations in Blair, Crete, Fremont, or Wahoo. Plus, shop our full inventory at SidDillonChevy.com.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Chevy, find new roads.
Much like the values of the people of Nebraska, Nebraska Realty was built on the principles of hard work, dedication, and doing things the right way. They believe strongly in the power of creating lasting relationships and the value those relationships hold. Their success is based on trust and the relationships created with the people and communities they serve across the state of Nebraska. There really is no place like Nebraska Realty.
Well, it's halftime. How do we kill 15 minutes?
I think I have some really old hard candies in my purse.
Ick.
Well, we could play rock, paper, scissors.
I'd rather eat the hard candy.
Oh, I forgot. I bought a bunch of Nebraska lottery scratch tickets before we came.
Excellent. Hand them down.
What a great selection. The Nebraska Lottery launches new scratch games every month.
Anybody got a quarter to scratch them with? Anybody?
Hey, hand me one of those old hard candies.
Play is good. Go play. Odds vary by game.
Looking for a great Christmas gift idea? Look no further than expanding your loved one's Husker closet with an item from the new 255 collection, inspired by legendary coach Tom Osborne. With high quality at the forefront, 255 can be worn anywhere from sporting events and business meetings to backyard get-togethers. No matter the occasion, 255 is about feeling confident, looking good, and celebrating the remarkable coaching career of Tom Osborne. Shop now at Huskers.com or participating retailers. For more information, visit Huskers.com/255.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The 2021 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. It'll get you off the beaten path with 8.7 inches of ground clearance, more than Toyota RAV4 or Honda Passport. It's the best Outback ever. The 2021 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Comparison based on competitor information from manufacturer websites as of July 2020. Visit Beardmore Subaru in Bellevue or at beardmoresubaru.com.
Hello, I'm Tom Osborne.
And I'm Coach Frost.
Statistics prove that youth who are mentored and receive support and guidance from a caring adult show measurable improvement in academic achievement, motivation to succeed, and hope.
Over the past 30 years, Teammates has served more than 43,000 youth, and right now there are more than 1,000 waiting for a Teammates mentor to visit with them once a week in school.
For more information on how you can help the Teammates Mentoring Program, please go to teammates.org, and thank you for supporting our youth.
Sponsored by Nebraska Crossing Fast Cash app.
We're back inside of our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres Equipment, Nebraska's premier John Deere dealer with 27 locations across Nebraska and into Kansas. Acres Solutions for every field. It's our volleyball hour here until the top of the hour. 402-413-2400, the number to dial us up. Coach Reyes with us here tonight. Huskers will have Maryland at home Friday at Indiana on Sunday. Let's go out to the Panhandle, Scotts Bluff. Randy, you are up next with Coach Reyes.
Hey, Coach, good talking to you. We appreciate watching you when we can get in and watch you play, which anytime we got 2 games in a week, we'll drive down from Scotts Bluff and see you.
8 hours.
My question is on name, image, and likeness of what your feelings are on it, number one, and number two, have you seen it as a distraction for some players?
Great question. I think it's great. Just the fact that it allows athletes to be themselves. When I was in college, I had players that would do stuff like make a YouTube channel about video games, or I had a player, a very gifted volleyball player that actually was a coach. I coached at BYU. He was a very gifted photographer and wasn't allowed to put his name on it because before name, image, and likeness before this past July was not allowed. So I think it's helped a lot of that stuff. So I have no problems with it. I know our girls are doing a great job with social media and stuff. I don't typically talk to them about it. So for us, we have a team rule that they're not allowed to talk about NIL stuff in Devaney. Just so when they come to practice or come to matches, that's not an issue. And it's funny, we'll even ask the girls questions about it, and they'll kind of joke around with us. And Jalen, no NIL conversations in Devaney. So for us, I could see it being a problem for some people, but speaking on our team specifically, we have no distractions with NIL stuff.
Okay, thank you. I think it can be used as a great recruiting tool, but it can also be a big detriment too. Depending on how the individual handles it.
For sure, and I think that's super important. When we recruit girls, we're starting to use that just because of the platform Nebraska volleyball has compared to the rest of the world, to be honest, in terms of the volleyball world. They'll have the biggest platform, the biggest following, the biggest social media following here. So in terms of building a brand, being a college volleyball player, there's no better place to come. And we've definitely used that recruiting pitch a lot in the last year or so. But if it's not handled correctly, it definitely could be a distraction. And we feel like we have rules in place. We have the people in place here at Nebraska. And the University of Nebraska has, I think, as a whole, done a really good job of getting out ahead of all of this stuff, not just with volleyball, but with all the other sports. So, we're trying to make sure that it doesn't become a distraction for any student athlete here at the University of Nebraska.
Randy, appreciate the phone call from out in the Panhandle. Thank you for support of Husker volleyball. Dorothy Lynch, home style, light and lean dressing, endless flavorabilities. Let's bring it back to Lincoln. And Richard, good evening. Richard, you're up with Coach Reyes.
Thank you. Coach, I'm fairly familiar with the red shirt rules for football. Do we have red shirt rules for volleyball? If so, can you kind of go through the drill with me so I know what we're talking about? And a player that I'm watching is Kaylin Meyer from Superior. She's appeared in a few matches, but not a lot recently. And is she a candidate for a red shirt?
Kaylin is not redshirting this year. She's already played. So just to jump to the beginning part of your question, volleyball rules, they're a lot simpler than football. I know football, there's a game limit.
You can play 4 games.
You can play 4 games, and then if you play 4 or less, you can still technically redshirt. In volleyball, once you play, unless you get hurt, you would technically burn a year of eligibility. The thing, though, is Kaylin Meyer, because she was here last year in the 2020, she technically gets that year back. So she could technically be a redshirt freshman right now. So she would not be able to redshirt anymore. And the fact that she actually played a bunch earlier in the season. So Kaylin's not redshirting right now, but she still has, after this year, she could still compete in volleyball for 3 more seasons.
Very good. Richard, hope that helped. Thank you for the phone call. Buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Need to slip our final break in. Back with some final thoughts from the coach next.
The name on the mailbox may say Smith, Myers, Baumgartner, or Johnson, but when you choose to plant with Rob Seco, it includes your name too, making you a stockholder in a company that's invested in you. With a simplicity that makes us easy to do business with, relationships that bring more to the table, the technology, traits, and genetics that take on local conditions, and people with the know-how to use it. At Rob Seco, the only stockholder we listen to is you.
Well, it's halftime. How do we kill 15 minutes?
I think I have some really old hard candies in my purse.
Ick.
Well, we could play rock, paper, scissors.
I'd rather eat the hard candy.
Oh, I forgot. I bought a bunch of Nebraska lottery scratch tickets before we came.
Excellent. Hand them down.
What a great selection. The Nebraska lottery launches new scratch games every month.
Anybody got a quarter to scratch them with? Anybody?
Hey, hand me one of those old hard candies.
Play is good. Go play. Odds vary by game.
Much like the values of the people of Nebraska, Nebraska Realty was built on the principles of hard work, dedication, and doing things the right way. They believe strongly in the power of creating lasting relationships and the value those relationships hold. Their success is based on trust and the relationships created with the people and communities they serve across the state of Nebraska. There really is no place like Nebraska Realty.
Pivot control has never been easier. T&L Irrigation now offers a new control panel called Precision Point Touch. It's a full-color 7-inch graphic touchscreen that's easy to use and gives you lots of great tools to make your irrigation faster and more efficient. Set up your pivots the way you want. You can update your older controls to the new Precision Point control panel too. Call your local T&L dealer or visit TLIRR.com. T&L Irrigation, like no other.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
It's football season. Husker Nation and Famous Dave's is here to make your tailgate, house party, or get-together famous. Award-winning and house-smoked St. Louis-style ribs, Texas beef brisket, Georgia chopped pork, and house-made sides like our Wilbur beans, creamy coleslaw, And Dave's Cheesy Mac and Cheese will surely tackle any barbecue craving. Visit famousdaves.com for all your catering and online ordering needs, or come visit us at our locations in Lincoln and Bellevue.
Welcome to Ag Answers, where we answer common questions related to farming and ranching. Today we're tackling the issue of GMOs, or genetically modified organisms. GMOs may sound scary, but they're actually benefiting our environment and consumers. That's because GMO crops help solve specific problems like insects, food waste, and droughts. By selecting good traits from one plant or organism and adding them to another, farmers are safely using science to produce high-quality foods better than ever before. This message is brought to you by Nebraska's corn and soybean farmers.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres Equipment, Nebraska's premier John Deere dealer with 27 locations across Nebraska and into Kansas. Acres solutions for every field. Final few minutes of our volleyball show for the night. Coach Jalen Reyes has been with us throughout the show. Let's go to Omaha next. And Mike, good evening, Mike.
Hey, Coach, I'm a tennis guy, and I know the similarities between the two sports. And I'm wondering if you guys can improve, or you really work on the spin and top spin you guys put on the ball, where you can really let loose and still have it go in and have the sharp angle. Can that be improved? And my other question is, I really like Lowenstein, and I think she could really help us maybe this year. Is she doing better in practice where we might see more?
When it comes to the top spin part of the question, that's something we work on each and every day, trying to hit the side of the ball. And it's not the same as tennis in terms of, it's an overhead sport, but the fact that we're trying to work on hand contact. So hand contact is super important, and that's something we train and work on, even during warm-ups and our defensive bursts in the beginning of practice. We try to work on the girls being able to hit the side of the ball or spin the ball or do different types of roll shots. So we spend a lot of time talking about that, watching that, getting the girls to move the ball from side to side. We feel like, you can hit the ball really hard at somebody, and a good, solid Big Ten defender is going to be able to dig you. But if you can just cut the ball either on either side or be able to spin the ball in front of them, they have a little bit harder time digging the ball. So that's something that we definitely work on each and every day. Whitney's been doing great. She's I was talking about, I think someone else called earlier, but Whitney's been doing awesome, and she does stuff. She is so physically gifted. We're just waiting now for the volleyball side of things to catch up with the physical ability. And that the day that day comes, it's going to be pretty special. That doesn't mean she's not going to play until that day comes, but, she's definitely ahead of pretty much everyone on our team, maybe besides girls like Lauren or Kayla physically. But we're just working on with her just the volleyball side of things, being able to cut the ball and have good hand contact all the time, being able to use proper four-step footwork and jump mechanics. Coach Cook is working with her a lot on that. And then just being able to handle being a sixth rotation or an outside hitter that's able to hit high balls and in-system stuff. So that's something we've been working on, and we definitely see Whitney being a huge part of the future and being able to help us, like you said, the rest of this season.
Very good. Mike, appreciate the phone call. Thanks for coming in. Good luck this week. Maryland on Friday.
Thanks for having me. Go Big Red.
Jalen Reyes with us here tonight on our Husker Volleyball Radio Hour. Hey, you could win a 2021 Ford F-150 XL four-wheel drive Super Crew truck from Woodhouse Auto Family this season. If the Huskers return their first or second half opening kickoff for a touchdown, Woodhouse is going to give away an F-150. New contestants will be chosen each week. For details on how to enter the Woodhouse Auto Family Kickoff Contest and official rules, go to Huskers.com/Woodhouse. Huskers and the Maryland Terrapins on Friday night at the Devaney Center. 6 o'clock first serve, pregame coverage at 5:30 here on the network. Have yourself a great night. We're back tomorrow.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Woohoo! Business Technology 1, network downtime 0. Being a game-winning IT network takes hard work and an experienced technology coach. That's why our game plan includes Marco. Marco helps our entire business infrastructure perform better and score big day in and day out. With Marco's veteran experience guiding our team, every season is a winning season. Find out what your technology could be saying at marconet.com.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red. Lutz is an integrated business solutions firm born and raised in Nebraska with offices in Omaha, Lincoln, Hastings, and Grand Island. Lutz provides expert accounting, consulting, financial, technology, M&A, and talent solutions tailored to you. Lutz embraces your business as their own to discover the right solutions to help you thrive. They mind what matters for businesses or individuals seeking a partner to help energize and heighten financial and organizational success. Visit lutz.us/GBR.
Much like the values of the people of Nebraska, Nebraska Realty was built on the principles of hard work, dedication, and doing things the right way. They believe strongly in the power of creating lasting relationships and the value those relationships hold. Their success is based on trust and the relationships created with the people and communities they serve across